American Family Association.
Hey, welcome to this Thursday edition of the program, everybody. Tim with Ray Pritchard joining me today.
Hey, Tim, how are you?
Doing well, Ray, yourself?
It's good. It's beautiful. It's Thursday.
Spring is here.
Yes, it is.
Isn't today the first day?
Today is, I think today's the first day.
Well,
yeah. It's.
I was talking to a friend in Ohio today.
Yeah.
He said, spring is here. The low tonight's 13.
Oh, brother.
Yeah, it's bad news up north.
Yeah.
And, we're still cool in the south, too, but I like spring. I'm glad it's here. And I don't like skipping from winter to summer. I want spring.
Yeah, and I just want to point out, March Madness starts today.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're basketball all day long and into the night.
Today's one of the greatest sports days of the year.
It's amazing how many
somebody's going to upset somebody. That shouldn't happen.
That's
right?
exactly right.
David will show up.
David is going to show up a couple of times.
And Goliath will go down. Well, joining us, we're glad to have him for the next few minutes, is the governor of the state of Mississippi, Phil Bryant. And we want to talk to him about a couple of different things. Governor Bryant, good morning. Welcome to our program.
Good morning, Tim. How are you guys?
We're doing great. Where are you today?
I am in the Capitol. I'm sitting in my office in the great new Capitol, as we call it, in Jackson, Mississippi, which was built in 1903. But we still call it new because the old one was built in the 1840s. So we are here with the Mississippi legislature hard at work.
I understand. Well, we appreciate you giving us a few minutes this morning. I wanted to talk to you about a couple of things. One is the Mississippi Student Religious Liberties Act, which was passed by the state legislature and signed into law by the governor. That would be you.
That's right.
Tell us about this bill.
Well, it's a bill that we've looked at for some time. We have many bright young attorneys who are also state senators and representatives. One, Senator Chris McDaniels, for example, is one of the better constitutional lawyers I know. So we looked at this from what is our rights as individuals, particularly in student, as we call it, Students Religious Act. It's Senate Bill 2633. And so we said we believe that the law and the Constitution allows for voluntary student expression of religious viewpoints. So there are times, as we know, that the First Amendment of the Constitution says that we cannot prohibit the free exercise of religion. We're not establishing a religion, so we feel like we meet the requirements of the Establishment Clause, that the state is not establishing a religion, but we're also meeting that first provision within that amendment that says, nor shall we prohibit the free exercise. So if a student wants to freely exercise his right to pray, particularly at limited public forums such as football games, non-graduation or even graduation events, they have the right to do that under the Constitution. And the state of Mississippi is saying if you are fearful as a superintendent or as a principal that you are unfamiliar with what the Constitution provides your rights or your students their rights to exhibit their religion, then we, as the state of Mississippi, will clarify that, and I think in essence take some responsibility if a lawsuit occurs to be able to defend that particular school district by saying now it is state law.
Talking to Governor Phil Bryant from Jackson, Mississippi, a governor of the Magnolia State. I want to ask you about that because that's been a tension. You know this because you studied it with the attorneys you mentioned, some of the state legislators who are attorneys. I was just having a meeting a few minutes ago with our attorney who is, studies the Constitution. There's been a hostility in our country fostered by the ACLU, groups like them, towards religious speech. So it's as if you discriminate. That what's going on is a not a neutrality, but a discrimination against religious speech. As if it needs to be shut down, and I don't see anywhere in the Constitution of the United States where that's supposed to happen.
Yeah, and Tim, it's so amazing. I mean, this act does just that. It allows freedom of speech. Now, these are the same people, the ACLU, that would defend a play or someone standing on a street corner shouting obscenities or making derogatory remarks about the government, which they certainly have the freedom and right to do. I would defend that Democrats. You know, you can stand on a street corner and say, I disagree with the president, I disagree with the governor, they're lost, they don't know what they're doing. But here we are saying, but if a student should stand up voluntarily and say a prayer, this law also provides that that student might be able to express his religious beliefs in a classroom assignment. So if you would like to write a book report on a religious book or a portion of the Bible, or if you'd like to do an assignment on some of Jesus or some of the other people within the Bible or religious individuals, maybe it is your pastor and how he has helped do such a good job in the community. You can do that under this law. You can form organizations or religious groups and activities. You know, we have the right of association in America. I can associate with any group that I want to. And so even within a school, if I say I would like to associate with other people who are Christians or part of a religious organization, you can do that under this law. But you're absolutely right. That freedom of speech that the ACLU defends in so many ways that are offensive to us, now we'll say that does not expand to a student in a limited public forum within a public school to have the right to speech and the right to express his freedom. And we think that we're right in this, and we think we have a strong legal position to defend. Talking to Governor Phil Bryant, Mississippi, joining us from Jackson. The law we've been discussing was passed by the state legislature last week and signed into effect by the governor. It's called the Mississippi Student Religious Liberties Act. Where can people go and read this? Well, certainly they could go on any number of websites. They could go on my website. They can Google Phil Bryant or Mississippi Governor. They can Google. The easiest thing to do is prayer in public schools, and about the second article will take them to any number of national publications that cover this, from the New York Times, I think, to Bloomberg. And I will say the coverage obviously has been one-sided when they talk to those people who are opposed to it, but it's been fair when they've been able to look at the law and allow us to express our religious freedoms and our public of speech. So there are certainly plenty of information on the Mississippi governor's website, plenty of information that on many websites that covered it during the time that we were signing it 2 weeks ago. And it was really amazing. We had a rally of religious leaders the Saturday before I signed it, and a huge crowd for 4 hours that came and prayed, prayer services from all denominations, all religious backgrounds that came and said, Christian backgrounds that came and said, we want to pray for our government, we want to pray for our governor, we want to pray for our media, we want to pray for our superintendents, our principals, our teachers. It was a very moving time on the steps of the Mississippi Capitol in relationship to being able to sign this bill into law. Governor Phil Bryant joining us from Jackson, Governor of the state of Mississippi. Phil, thanks so much for your time this morning. Appreciate it very much. I want to have you back on sometime when you have a little more time to comment on the Second Amendment issue going on in Washington. I know you had something to say. Well, Tim, we did. I think the rights of honest gun owners are under attack. If you look at the two things that we're trying to defend, that my administration is working hard to defend, it is religious liberties and our Second Amendment, our right to keep and bear arms, two things that are clearly assigned to me as an American within the United States Constitution and the Bill of Rights, while at the same time others are trying to find things within the Constitution that don't exist, such as Roe v. Wade. And so it is amazing to me, but we're having a really good time at working hard here in Mississippi to say we believe that your freedom of speech, your religious freedoms, your right to keep and bear arms are something that we should stand for. And we're you know, as I know Governor Huckabee, I heard him once say, look, I'm a conservative, but I'm not mad about it. But we are going to defend our freedoms as provided to us under the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Good. Thank you, Phil. Appreciate it. All right, Tim. God bless. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye. That's Governor Phil Bryant of the state of Mississippi joining us from Jackson. What do you think about that?
What I think about it, he's one of the most articulate conservative leaders we have, not just in Mississippi, but I think in all the nation. And, you know, he's thought out that whole question about prayer and empowering students to pray in the right places. He's really thought this thing out in terms of the constitutional law, and clearly ready to defend this law.
That's what I appreciated about it, because when the media is framing this, much of the media is framing this as a school prayer bill that was passed into law. No, it wasn't that. If you read it, if you'll actually take the time to read it, that's not what it was. It was a Religious Liberties Act, and included in that was what he called limited public forums, and that is at maybe football games or graduation ceremonies or anything else maybe having to do, you know, at special events where you would, what you're saying is you can't, nobody's compelling anyone to do anything prayer-wise or a religious nature. That's not what this law does. But also, while you can't compel somebody to do that, the Constitution does not prohibit it either.
Right.
So if a student wants to have a prayer at a graduation or a football game, a student-initiated, student-led prayer.
If they want to say God bless you, if they
want
to
say thanks for coming,
right?
You know, whatever they want to say.
That's right.
Whatever they want to say, you're just saying.
You can't censor the name of Jesus.
That's right. That's right. And that's really the argument we've been making for years. But these ACLU types and the Freedom from Religion groups, they want to say, no, you can't say a word about Jesus, or you can't pray, you can't do anything religious. That's prohibited by the Constitution of the United States, and that's not true.
And we're really making the argument, and the governor's making the argument, not so much on, quote, freedom of religion grounds, but on free speech grounds.
Yes.
That you don't give up your First Amendment rights.
Because you're a Christian, or anything else, or a Hindu, or anything else.
That's exactly right.
You don't give up your religion. And America has always been a place that, you know, you're free to express your religious beliefs. You don't discriminate against people because they happen to do this. And so I applaud the governor and the state legislature. And as you say, it's not knee jerk. This is well thought out, as the governor said, well worded and articulated. And heretofore, of course, it's only been a few days, the ACLU has not said that they're going to, well, they've not taken any legal action.
Right.
And I would have thought they would have the day it was signed into law.
Right.
But they haven't, because I'm probably having to look at this a little closer than
to figure out.
Yeah, how do we attack this? How do we go after this? Anyway.
And hopefully what's happening here in Mississippi in that regard will be a model, because I think other states with conservative governors are looking for ways to address this problem. And
yes,
maybe we found a way that works now.
Yeah.